The city of Houston is expecting $114 million in public safety money to be restored after HPD signed off on the revised immigration enforcement ordinance. The latest ordinance gives officers more leeway when they pull someone over and that person is undocumented and has a civil warrant. The officer can decide how long they will wait for ICE to come and pick up that undocumented person. That is different from the old ordinance, which made it clear they did not have to wait for ICE at all. Again, this only applied to civil warrants, not criminal. The $114 million is frozen. That money is used for Houston police officer overtime pay and funds the department's human trafficking and DWI programs. Governor Greg Abbott froze that money because he wanted the original ordinance changed. He said he would not unfreeze it until the police departments signed off on it, which they now have. So now we wait. In the meantime, what does that change mean for undocumented people? Houston City Council passed the amended ordinance, but key players differed in their interpretation of what it means. Like this moment from City Council yesterday.
That does not answer my question. It's very simple, yes or no. It's the intent of this ordinance to permit HPD to hold somebody solely on the basis of a civil administrative warrant.
No.
So under this ordinance, HPD is not permitted to extend the stop solely for the purposes of a civil administrative warrant.
That is correct.
Okay, so that is technically true, but there is still some confusion as to what exactly it means. KPRC 2 News reporter Rochelle Turner walks us through the new policy.
Here's an example. If I'm undocumented and I get pulled over by law enforcement and I have a detainer, also known as an administrative warrant, what happens next?
If you're only being arrested for that, if you're only being detained for the administrative warrant, in other words, we're not stopping you. If you got a robbery warrant out of Harris County and an ICE detainer, we're taking you to the Joint Processing Center, we're putting you in for the robbery, and we're notifying ICE that he's in the jail if you want him. If you don't have anything other than the fact that you've got a detainer, if we write you a ticket for it, we can do whatever we want on that.
If someone does have an immigration warrant, officers will call federal agents like ICE, but they won't wait forever.
I can tell you that 5 minutes is not a reasonable amount of time. That's why our policy now requires a supervisor to come to the scene so that now you've got a supervisor determining what is a reasonable amount of time.
Here's the part that caused the most confusion. This is not just for undocumented people. This applies to everyone.
On every traffic stop that we make or every encounter that we make with citizens, we do a person check. When we do a person check, the person check goes through NCIC and TCIC.
And regardless of where you're from, HPD will never ask you for your immigration status. And if you are here illegally and you've never been handled by Border Patrol or police, you're not in the system.
You're only in the database if a DPS, a ICE person stopped you, gave you a notice to appear in court, you failed to appear, or you appeared and they said you've got to deport. If you haven't had any of those encounters, you're not in the database.
Now that the policy has been released, officers will begin to be notified about the new language in the ordinance. Reporting downtown, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.